Hey guys, welcome to the Trophy Life podcast. I'm your host, Tara Smith. From beauty to wellness, wife life, motherhood, and everything feminine in between, the Trophy Life podcast is a place where you can feel inspired and empowered and ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve. It's hot to romanticize your life, so grab a mocktail or your favorite cozy beverage and let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Trophy Life. Extremely excited to be here with y'all because we did not have an episode last week. Your girl has really I entered my second trimester, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, and to be honest with you, I have been extremely humbled still throughout my pregnancy. I am almost 15 weeks pregnant and I projectile vomited yesterday for the first time, so that was really fun. I was literally eating a bagel. Will never be eating a bagel again in my entire life, I will tell you that. One thing about pregnancy that I've learned is that you kind of, I know this sounds so weird, okay, but like you feel like a baby in a lot of ways. Like every time I throw up, I pee my pants. Like it's so intense that my body just literally can't control my bladder, which like makes sense, but it's just a very humbling experience to say the least. But major life update. If you did not see our gender reveal, I would highly recommend pausing this podcast, or I mean, you may have already seen it, but it's on my TikTok. I think it got like 1.2 million views on TikTok and a few 100,000 on Instagram, which is very exciting because I love that so many people were able to like share that intimate experience with us. So my husband and I decided that we wanted to go to Tiffany's to do our gender reveal. Tiffany's has this like $300 necklace and it comes in a pink and a blue version and it has this little heart on it, and then it's got this little like silver circular pendant that's next to it. It's so cute. I'm gonna get baby's name engraved on the silver one when they're born. So very excited about that. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But we are having, drum roll please, I'm so excited, we're having a boy. And my husband and I actually did a lot of like old wives' tale things to actually try to conceive a baby boy. So, basically like you can look up these things, like if you ask ChatGPT, you can like look up specifically what they are. But essentially I have used an Oura ring to track my cycle. And because of that, my ring knew exactly like when I was going to ovulate because I have very regular cycles. And I was also using like ovulation tests. So I think I only took 2 ovulation tests because the first one was negative and then the second one was like positive. And the second one I took just happened to be the night after we conceived the baby. We didn't know it at the time, but we actually it was a one time around for the baby. And that was it. So it was a one shot, baby made his way. So that was crazy. It's actually really crazy to like think about it now because like it's very crazy that I know the exact night that baby was conceived on. Anyways, it's really cool to me. Really crazy, but very cool. Like I think that creating life is like the most beautiful thing and it's so special. It's very intimate. And yeah, I know there's like a lot of people that say you can do things. So that's kind of how we did that. But favorites of the week, the first one being at a cabin. We went to a friend's cabin this weekend and it was so fun and crazy, kind of sad situation. There's actually a fire that started the day that we left. You can't do campfires up there because it's too rural. Is that how you say the word? And some idiot, I can't with people that are just so dumb, and when it says no open flames, they proceed to have campfires or they do fireworks. It's just something I will literally never get a hold of. Like I can't comprehend acting that way when they literally ask you not to with something that's so serious. And the cabin that we stayed at actually might burn down. So, really hoping that that does not happen. But this friend of ours, like, they've had this property and this cabin in their family for like, I think the cabin they've had it for like, I want to say like a few hundred years, and they've updated it. The property has been in the family for sure for a few hundred years. They had an original cabin and then they built a new cabin, and they've just like continued to do updates to it. And it's actually their own private property. So it's their own private reservoir that they own. And it's kind of by a city called Monroe, Utah, in Utah. And yeah, it's beautiful. Like, it's fenced off. They have like a gate to get into it. It's crazy, but it's absolutely beautiful. There was like cows running around and like grazing the grass, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like," it was just so fun and magical. And the fact that we might be the last people to ever stay up there is very crazy. Um Second favorite of the week. This is for my pregnant girlies, okay? Is the Unisum, half a Unisum B6 combo. I just truly, I can't live without this. If I do not take both of these every single night, I will be throwing up immediately the next day. I still have nausea even taking these, but my like inability to throw up is significantly reduced, okay, when I take these. Being pregnant is so crazy because when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is like chug an entire Stanley of water. I'm not exaggerating. Like, you're like so parched, you feel like you haven't had water in 3 days. But you can't do that, because if you do that, at least for people like me who are sensitive, and I would say most women that I've talked to, you have to eat food, wait like 10 to 20 minutes. It is like, oh my gosh, it's like torture. It's torture not being able to just drink as much water as you want in the morning. And I was already in that habit too before being pregnant. But like, even when I eat breakfast, I'll be eating like protein waffles with syrup, and like, you just can't drink water, because your body will probably reject it, and you'll just, you know, anyways, it's a whole thing. Um, but yeah, that combo is just incredible. Also, really been loving, I've been kind of switching off every night. I really love the Heart and Soil beef organs and beef liver supplements. Those just feel very intuitively right to me to be taking right now. I also kind of want to try their whole package supplement, which is like testicle and stuff, but I'm pregnant with a boy, so I kind of want to take that because it just seems like something that would be beneficial for him. And so yeah, I'm just like super, super excited because a lot of pregnancy has brought me a lot of clarity with just tapping into my intuition. And it is such a beautiful thing. I want to get a mom of just someone who's a mom. No, but I want to get a mom on the podcast and just chat about um, all things mom, and maybe someone who's kind of more into the low toxic, holistic side of things, because it's just something that I personally love to talk about, and I think would be very fun to chat with someone. Okay, number 3 or number 4, we have Hunter boots. I bought a pair off of Facebook Marketplace because I was like, I'm not paying $200 for boots that I might end up hating. I do really like them. I'm kind of sad because I can't wear socks with them because they are so, I don't know why they make them so tight around the calf. It's crazy. And I actually have pretty small legs and calf. Like, my calf area is pretty small, and I'm like, how does anybody wear these? So I just have to wear like literal ankle socks. But we're going to Montana in August, and I'm extremely excited about that. So I will be bringing them with me, but I will just have to not wear long socks, which is just kind of going to give me the ick a little bit to wear boots without big, thick boot socks. I don't have to wear ankle socks, I guess, but can't wear like thick ones. Okay, my next favorite of the week is a protein style double double with only pickles and cheese from In-N-Out. You don't even have to get the cheese on it. Well, I mean, you do. It's really good. It is just the best. It's just the best meal. It's so packed with so much protein. I honestly don't even consider In-N-Out fast food, which I know it is, but for some reason in my brain, it's just like not even close to being in the same category as like McDonald's, Wendy's, any of the other like fast food burger places. I just love In-N-Out so much. And I feel like in the summer it just hits. We had a gender reveal on July 3rd and we had it like Americana themed. There's also a video on my Instagram, my TikTok, YouTube shorts of it. And we catered In-N-Out. So we got tons of hamburgers and tons of fries and everything. Everything got eaten, by the way, which I just love. Like, I love when you spend a decent amount of money on food for a party and it gets all eaten because I've had the opposite experience and it is horrible. Like, it's not the vibe. So yeah, that was very fun, very special. It was fun to like celebrate with everyone, to share the gender with them in an intimate way, but then Colby and I had already known what the gender was, so we let our parents do like the little popper things. Okay, that is kind of everything life update wise. The only thing I'd say is like you can, watch my stories on Instagram every day. I'm pretty good at keeping up with stories on just like pregnancy updates, life updates, just like small little things throughout my day each week. But I'm very excited for today's episode because we're going to chat about my story with birth control, and I'm just going to share my experience. And it's just something that I feel like a lot of women don't do, and I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about. So I do before I was pregnant, I was still using a form of birth control, and I guess it was more so family planning. I don't know how you'd say it, but okay, let me start at the beginning. So I had never been on any form of birth control, anything like that until Colby and I were about to get married. So I decided without doing like any research. And at this time on social media, we got married in 2018. There wasn't really like any discussion around birth control, different forms of birth control, not getting on birth control, tracking your cycle like naturally. Like that wasn't just a discussion. And I didn't have anyone in my life who didn't have an IUD. At least that told me. So I decided to get the Mirena IUD. And number one, it hurt so incredibly bad. Oh my gosh, getting that thing put in was a terrible experience. I was like in bed after for like 2 days because I was so sore. I immediately over like the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, noticed a lot of changes within my cycle. But not even just my cycle. I noticed them within like how emotional I was and how like volatile I was. Like I almost felt just like I could not regulate my emotions and I did not feel like myself. So I think I had my Mirena in, I want to say for like 9 months, possibly. It could have been even as much as 12 months, like a year, but it was not that long. But I did keep trying to wait for things to get better. So some of the side effects that I had were I would get UTIs. Basically, oh gosh, I can't fully remember. This was like 7-ish years ago, but I would basically get UTIs. I want to say like once or twice every, like one to three times a month. So insane amounts of UTI. I would travel on an airplane and get a UTI. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It was completely messing with all different sorts and parts of my reproductive organs and organs. I guess it is organs. And just something like I kept trying. I remember we went to New York for Christmas the year that Colby and I got married, and I got a UTI one from the airplane. I don't know if it was from the pressure, just the craziest thing ever. We were on a family vacation. Okay, we were sharing a hotel room with family. So I was not sexually active on that trip at all, or on the airplane. So it makes no sense why I got a UTI. I also always did all the hygienic things that they say to do when you're married and when you're newly married, all that kind of stuff. So I had to call my uncle and he had to get me like a antibiotics. So I was popping antibiotics like they were candy because those, like the normal over the counter UTI medicine, wouldn't work for me. So a few months go by and I got another UTI. And by the way, I forgot to mention too, my periods were horrendous. I never experienced period cramps in my entire life until I got an IUD. I almost said a UTI, but until I got an IUD. So that was something that was like a big red flag because I'm like, why are my cycles so irregular? Why are they so uncomfortable? They're way heavier. They're so painful. To like never have had period cramps and then to be experiencing that was so crazy and a whole experience in itself. So like I was saying, okay, so a few months later after, it was probably February, I want to say, you know what, this could have actually been, I don't know, it was somewhere between the 9 to 12 months that I had the IUD in. Okay, let's just go back to that. I got a UTI and did all the things and it wasn't going away. And I started getting like a fever and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sick on top of having a UTI. Like this is crazy. Like I've never experienced this. So I remember like I was in bed for like 2 days and then all of a sudden I started noticing that like my back and specifically like my lower back was hurting so bad. Like to the point where I could not lay on my back. I couldn't really sit up. I actually got to the point where I literally could not even walk because it was so incredibly painful. And I've always been someone who like loves to go to the gym. I'm super active. And I remember being like, I can't even walk. So my husband and I were like, okay, maybe we just need to go to the Instacare. So he takes me to the Instacare after he comes home from work one day. And I remember he had to wheel me in on a wheelchair because I literally could not walk. I was in so much pain. Like when your back hurts, it is just like everything else stops working. So they take me in. They just did a urine test. I told them like kind of what was going on. And they came back in like 30 minutes and they were like, you have a kidney infection. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? They're like, yeah, your UTI spread to your kidneys and your kidneys are infected. And that's why you have this crazy back pain. You have fever, you have the chills. I had all these symptoms of having a kidney infection. And I was just like, what is causing this? Like, I'm not doing anything that should be getting me a UTI and kidney infections. Like, what is happening? So I finally made the decision. I was like, I need to just get this UTI out. This UTI out. IUD. Guys, my brain does not work being pregnant. I'm telling you, it's insane. I feel so dumb all the time. I was like, I need to get this IUD out. It's just not, it's something about it just feels off to me. So I went to my doctor and he was like, it was a new OB because the midwife that put my IUD in wasn't there at the hospital anymore. So I went in, it was a male doctor, and he was like, are you sure you want this out? And I said, yeah, it's been causing me incredibly painful periods, reoccurring UTIs. I mean, I was just like going off and I was like, I do not want this. And mind you, I'm 20 years old, okay? I'm literally a baby, maybe freshly 21. I might have been freshly 21. And he was like, he's like, that's why we have ibuprofen. And I was like, sir, I have tried taking ibuprofen. I said I would take 4. It wouldn't even make a dent. My cramps would not stop. They wouldn't go away. And he was like, huh. This man proceeded to try to convince me to keep my IUD after I've had probably, I want to say 15 UTIs, a kidney infection, and my periods completely changed. And a man who has never experienced any of these things in his life tried to tell me to keep it in. And I was like, respectfully, no. Okay. And I know my doctor and he was married to a man as well. So I'm like, respectfully, I get that you're a doctor. Okay. But you're not even around. You don't have a wife who you're seeing her go through these things on a daily basis. Okay. So I was just like, okay, well, there's a huge disconnect. And I was like, no, I just want it out. So he took it out It didn't hurt that much to take it out, but I remember just feeling this huge sigh of relief when I got it removed. And I'm so proud of myself that I got it removed because it was the best thing that I ever did for myself personally. So let's see, I want to say, I think it was probably like a few months go by, my UTIs completely went away. Stopped. Didn't, if I did get a UTI, it was probably every, I don't know, once a year type of a thing. Again, it could have just been like the lingering hormones from the IUD, because the one I had hormones in it, which is just, I don't know how, like, everyone I've ever known, by the way, all my friends, every single one of them who has had an IUD has had a problem with it in some way, either not being able to get pregnant after getting it removed, getting cysts on their ovaries, painful periods. Most of them had actually pretty similar experiences that I did, where they shouldn't feel like themselves and their emotions were all over the place, just stuff like that. Just like really ruining your quality of life. And I'm like, nothing is worth that. So a few months go by, I get it removed, and I just kind of went on my way with tracking my cycle regularly. So I remember downloading the Flow app, and I was like, I'm just going to track my periods on here, and then I'll know what days I'm fertile, because you're only fertile for like 5 days out of a month. It's really not that long. And to me, this was a way better option than basically torturing myself and being in hell for the entire month just to have an IUD for 5 days out of the year, or 5 days out of the month. So I got it removed, and yeah, a few years go by, like I was saying, and then I came across a Instagram video talking about these supplements that are really good for your reproductive health. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And they ended up being the Heart and Soil Her package, is what it's called, supplements. So I ordered those immediately, started taking them. And then at the same time, this was in 2022, spring of 2022. And then at the same time, I switched out my toilet paper from being one with like chlorine and bleach, which is insane that that's what toilet paper is made with, but it is. Which, when you think about it, you shouldn't be putting bleach on your reproductive area. A lot of those chemicals, by the way, are banned in a lot of countries, but it's not in the US. I don't know why. Like, I don't understand. Men obviously don't use toilet paper, so this is really specifically affecting women. And I switched out our toilet paper. I have my favorite toilet paper. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I know it's on my ShopMy. Should be under like home non-toxic favorites. I have had that on subscription since 2022, and it has changed my life. Okay. The combo of that toilet paper and this Her package Heart and Soil supplement, which I think is also on my ShopMy, completely changed my life. I have not had a UTI since. And it is 2025 in July right now. And that was in, I want to say like March. No, it would have been May, because May was when we moved back to Utah. May of 2022. Absolutely insane. And I would say that my periods have also really improved. I used to have like debilitating cramps. My cramping has never fully gone away ever since having my IUD. But it's something I'm still, obviously I'm pregnant right now, so I don't have a period, but it's still something that I want to continue to figure out how to heal. But it is crazy to me that my IUD is literally what it changed something in me that caused me to start having period cramps. It's a big something, again, like I said, I still want to do a lot of research on, and just, it's something that is just, it's very frustrating. The yawning is crazy. It's very frustrating to me that for women specifically, there's just not really much discussion around reproductive health, and like knowing that there's actually more than one way other than having a IUD or taking a pill to be on birth control. Like, you can do things that if you have a really sensitive body, which I would say most women do, and I just didn't feel energetically right also along with all of this, but all of my negative side effects were just insane of having something in my reproductive area. So I want to say, let's see, was it 2023? No, it was 2024 when I bought my Aura Ring. So the Aura Ring is connected with the Natural Cycles app. Natural Cycles is like the same as Flow. So I switched from Flow to Natural Cycles because it connected with the Aura Ring, and I started to just have, basically I wanted to start trying to like get pregnant. So I wanted it to know when my most fertile days were. But you can also use the Natural Cycles Aura apps to know when to like not be sexually active to not get pregnant. It is the coolest freaking thing to me that like has ever existed. And it's actually, if this is something that is important to you, it's the only FDA approved non-contraceptive, is that how you say that word? Birth control. So it's absolutely incredible. I have so many friends that use their Aura Ring as their way of birth control, either for trying to have a family right now, like trying to get pregnant, or not trying to get pregnant. And they all love it. So yeah, I really just can't recommend it enough. Also, sorry that you're going to hear me yawn twice in this episode. I don't edit my podcast because I like them to be very, very raw. And there are sometimes some downsides from that, but I think the upside outweighs the few yawns or sniffles occasionally throughout the episode. But that is kind of my story with birth control. I just wanted to film this episode because number one, I get asked a lot about it, like how I got pregnant, all that kind of stuff. So that plays into this episode. But then number two, I just think I wish I would have had somebody when I was like about to get married or when I was 18 to know that there was like another way. And you really can just track your cycle. You can do it by taking your temperature. That's another really great non-contraceptive form of birth control. I think it's called the Mira, Mira, but if you type in like any basal body temperature, because that's how the Aura Ring works, is it takes your basal body temperature every day at the same time. You just want to make sure that you take it at the same time every day, where your Aura Ring will just kind of do that for you. So it is nice in that regard, and I highly recommend it. You could even find one on Facebook Marketplace. I also believe, something human, Ultra Human, I think is the name of the brand. Ultra Human Ring. I think theirs also has a cycle tracker. So very cool with technology now that there's a lot of other options outside of birth control. That's been a thing. So I think birth control has only been a thing since I want to say like the 80s or the 90s. So it hasn't been around for that long. Like when you think about that, that's not a long time at all. There's very little research. So I will never be going back on a contraceptive form of birth control. I will always track my cycle. It's, again, worked incredibly well for me. And this is something I can say very confidently, okay, as somebody who got pregnant the first time actively trying. I never got pregnant unexpectedly in my, I want to say 6 years of marriage, basically. No, it would have been like 6.5 years of marriage. So never once did I have that. So I think that should hopefully instill confidence in you if you're hesitant at all. But yeah, I think also I have a friend who got pregnant with both of her girls with an IUD in. So also, just because you have an IUD does not make you immune to getting pregnant either. And then that causes issues. That's a whole separate thing too. So, yeah, I just think it's great. And I think it's very empowering to track your cycle. And yeah, I was really excited to chat about this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. I know I definitely did. Make sure to come follow me on Instagram at Tara Kelly Smith with an underscore on Instagram, no underscore on TikTok. I think TikTok is getting deleted in like 6 months for good. So if you have not already followed me on Instagram, make sure you come connect with us all over there, as well as Trophy Life Club on Instagram as well. So yeah, I'm so excited for just to hear your guys' response on this and any feedback that you have. And I will see you in the next episode. Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. Before you go, I have something exciting for you. I'm doing a giveaway. So to enter, all you need to do is rate and review the show either on Apple or Spotify. Make sure that you're subscribed to the show, of course, so you never miss an episode. And head over to the @Trophy Life Podcast Instagram and leave a comment on my latest post and let me know what your favorite takeaway was from today's episode, or comment some emojis, just something, and that will basically enter you into the giveaway. The more that you engage, the higher your chances of winning are, so don't be shy. This is something I'm going to be doing ongoing. So even if you're listening to this episode later, you can still go and comment on my most recent post and it will 100% get you entered into the giveaway. And if you haven't already, come join the club at Trophy Life Club. This is just a community for the girls who like to romanticize their life and want to become the best version of themselves. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Tara Kelly Smith for more content. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next episode. Love you. Bye.